Hi, it's Lisa Cuneo and welcome to my scrapbook table. I'm working today on some embellishments for a swap through Ginger's Corner. She has lots of swaps happening there. It's a great thing to be part of. This one is a faith-based swap about the Bible verse that says, "Peace, be still." So I am working on these. This is my example. I stamped that Adirondack chair with clouds and printed out a little piece that says "Peace be still." And I wanted to show you how I was making the background pieces for these. So I cut circles with a stitched circle die. I am using several different inks. Some are distress oxides like chipped sapphire, faded jeans, speckled egg, evergreen bough. I also add sometimes some Shimmers paint in Cold as Ice, some Picket Fence opaque white, and there might have been one other color in there. They all turn out differently. Oh, there's a Tattered Angels blue spray that I threw in there a little bit. But my goal was for them to look like stormy sky weather type thing, because the Bible verse "Peace be still" is in the context of Jesus calming a storm. And so that was my goal. Oh, and there's a little bit of a different blue. As I said, they're all different. When I put the inks down, I usually get about 2 circles out of them. I didn't add a ton of water. I wanted these to be pretty well inked and for the ink to be saturate the paper pretty well. I didn't want them looking watery. Also, these are on 2 different papers. I thought I cut them out of all the same paper, but they are not. And so you can see there that the 2 papers took the inks very differently. Unfortunately, at this point, I have no idea which paper was Stampin' Up! Paper and which was just some random white cardstock that's in my stash. So, sorry, you would get even nicer results with watercolor paper, I'm sure. But I do like how they turned out. They're all a little bit different, but they all have a variety of tones of color, blues and greens and even a bit of purples. And I just dried them with my heat tool before I went on to the next step. And unfortunately, as has become the norm for me lately, when I left my table, stopped filming, and then came back, I forgot to turn on my camera. So I don't have all the footage of me using my MISTI tool to stamp the images. But I just put these in my MISTI and put the Adirondack chair stamp on there and stamped them all twice with a black pigment ink. And that's what they look like. I do show you, I think, one stamping here that's coming. This one's really dark and kind of moody looking. I did add white splatter and that lightened things up a little bit. So here you can see I'm doing the very last one and the last extra stamping. I like using my MISTI for this because I wanted the black ink to show up really well, and that was the only way to make that happen, was to stamp it twice. Here was my original one that I was going to use this bulkier ribbon on, which I really like, but that's pretty bulky to mail 10 of them. So I just pulled out this copper cord. I've had it for quite a while. I bought it I don't know, a few years ago. And I just cut pieces that are about between 8 and 9 inches long. I used a tiny little hole punch and just threading them through there. The hole punch was pretty tiny, so I did have to take my scissors and just make it a tiny bit bigger. I didn't want a large hole, I just wanted it big enough that this copper cord could go through when it was doubled. I will have a link in the description box below for Ginger's Corners Facebook group. I really encourage you to go there and be part of a swap. They are great at helping beginners get introduced into the swapping, and they help you through the initial ones so that you have some guidance if you feel like you need it. There's great helpful videos about how to swap and what the guidelines are and what the different kinds of swaps are. There's color-based ones, themes like this one, all sorts of great things. So here they are. I've added a sticker to some, and then I created these little wax seals with a heart. I made about 10 or 12 of these yesterday, and again, they're all a little bit different, but they're all in the same color family. Here come the still shots. Oh, and we package our swaps in these little envelopes to help them mail better. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really happy that you're here. If you have any questions about swapping, if I can't help, I will point you to someone who can. I'm grateful that you watched today, and I hope you get to create something very soon. Bye-bye.